Greetings everybody, Multi-Retro Man here. Now today I'm going to do something slightly different. Yesterday I ordered this the game Drive 21. Now this is actually a beta game and the developer and publisher is Quadfix Games. Now it's had some mixed reviews and if you purchase it, it's quite a lot of money. It's something like £10.99 or something, or 12. So I thought the graphics looked okay. And I thought, well, I didn't bother looking at I looked at some of the reviews, but not all of them. And it had some recent, the latest update was November the 30th with a car. And it basically looks as, I'm not quite sure exactly what it is. It just says it's a simulation game by earning money with job opportunities, making logistics and bus driver by buying and modifying your own vehicle. With the money you earn, you can make your own vehicle and you can travel with your own vehicles. Now, so for the first time ever, this is obviously the first time I've ever tried doing, played if you like, a beta kind of game. And it does take quite a long time to load up, which made me wonder. I mean, obviously, it's probably not fully optimized for loading, that type of thing. And let's hope, here we go, what was it? So now it says press any key. Now, at this point in time, there's no instructions or anything on how to actually play the game. So, firstly, this is what it does. It takes you straight into this thing. So I'm thinking, okay, so you basically start off in your place. It's probably a flat or something. In fact, no, it's an apartment. Like, it's a flat within some apartment on a black apartment block. So what you obviously, I thought, well, how on earth do you open the door? And you can sort of see through doors, so you can see the other side. And this is obviously, that's the main exit because it's all kind of locked up and everything. So I thought, so you can see through it, but you can't actually go out. So I'm like, well, how on earth are you meant to go out? So I wandered about a bit. I tried to find the keys because, like I said, there's no tutorial with the keys. I mean, I should have probably done that before I started, but I thought, no, I just want to jump straight into it and see how it goes. Now there you see, you've got your fridge, which you can't do anything, or you can't seem to do anything with anything, if that makes sense, at the moment. So then it says press the use key to turn on the computer. Now, that's okay if it tells you what the actual key is to use, the use key, what it actually is. So I actually gave up, or tried. I thought, well, I'll try other things, pressing different things. That's sped up a bit. And in the end, I thought, well, what else can I do? There's something here. And then it actually pops up there, the letter E key to use. So I thought, well, why couldn't they not show that earlier? So the letter E key uses something. So I thought, here we go. So when you go to the computer, it loads it up as a normal computer. So then you've got an option there straight away, which is quite intuitive. It tells you straight away you can buy the car and license plate. So you can change your license plate. So I just put Multi-Retro Man. And save save it, purchase it, or it shows you what's in your garage. So I'm thinking, right, okay, so that's straightforward. And then you quit out of that. So I'm thinking, so now I know that the E key uses things. So my first thought is, does it use the door? Yes. So you open the door, but you obviously tried to open it on myself and it wouldn't work. So you had to move out of the way. So you press the E key again to use it. But again, you have to point it in certain places. So naturally, I just thought, okay, the E key gets in the car. No. You've got an enter stroke exit car to enter the vehicle. Now, I think at this point I didn't realise, but under the settings option, I'll show you this. It should I think I recorded this bit. It shows you the options of what you do, for the keys. Because at this point I realised you can't actually use a joypad. Now I've got an Xbox One joypad. Well, it's a wired one that you can use for Xbox One that is connected. So there we go. So I managed to jump in the car, but I wasn't quite sure what the what button it was. I believe it's a V key. So the car just carries on, and it just comes to an abrupt halt, stopping there. So here we are. So this is where it shows you all the keys that it actually uses. So I'm like, okay, so it's quite a lot. There's quite a lot of keys. So obviously when you're in the car, some of them possibly I don't make, you can use your indicators and stuff. You don't really see that until later on. But like ABS, ESC, like that. Now I don't know if they're actually implemented or not. but you know, I kind of saw the things where you're showing your left button, your right button, that type of thing. So we'll just speed this up a little. So by this point, I actually worked out, you know, found out what the keys were, left and right, and then you've got change up gear, down gear, and the accelerator pedal. So then you got to put into first, into reverse, and then give it some power like you would do in a normal car, if it actually does something. How to actually turn the engine on. I'd forgotten how you actually start the engine. So, go up to the top bit. There we are, engine. So the I button there. So I clicked on it and I'm thinking, can you try, you know, will it accept inputs from the controller? But it doesn't. So I had to revert it back to the I key, because that's the easiest way. So at that point, there we go. So I've actually got it going, got it in reverse. And you can see the graphics aren't fantastic, do you know what I mean? But the colours are okay. The shading's not so bad. You know, the graphics of some of the cars are quite nice. They're quite nicely detailed. And to be honest, you know, the overall experience isn't bad at all. So I decided to go to a little drive and see what happens. And their cars crashed into me, which, you know, not really good. But the nice thing is that you bump into them, they just disappear, which is quite a good thing, really, because obviously sometimes if you bump into a car and you can't get out for whatever reason, like getting into skid or something, then you're kind of stuck then, and you've got no way of getting out. Whereas if the car disappears like it did there, it's a nice little feature, so you can at least then carry on or move out of the way of the accident. So yeah, I just thought I'll just have a little drive around and see what's what, and I saw this little bit, so I thought, here we go, there's a chance to open the thing up. So as we're driving, here we go, and that was a very close call, which will give you points for close, near misses or whatever they call it. And then I thought, oh, okay, that's a speed bump, which was quite good. And there we go, to a nice skid, lovely control there, and then I managed to miss the car, so I pull in front of it, and there we go. Now at this point I decided to see what the graphic settings would be like. So you've got their options. It says custom, so you've got low, high, ultra, that type of thing. So now I've just clicked escape there, so I'm thinking, well, it's not really much changes now. I didn't realise at the time that you have to click on the apply button to make it, to apply the settings. In fairness, it makes it look a little bit better, but it's nothing major, if I did it a bit later on. Here's where I actually enjoyed, or wanted to try and drive it. Just open the car up, as you might say, and everything was going all lovely and nicely. So I'm thinking, how fast can you go? And obviously we're slow to this bit, but the brakes work well. And for some reason I hit something there. Now I looked at it and I'm thinking, as I'm driving, there doesn't seem to be anything actually in the road. I don't know if it's a pothole or what, but it seems a bit strange that it suddenly just knocked up the car. I suppose it could be, they might be basing it on sort of, Sheffield and Rotherham roads, because a lot of them are terrible. There's potholes galore. A lot of the time you end up playing slalom with your car. It's like way worse than being on a ski stamp. Now that I thought was an absolutely brilliant feature. The airbags go off. So I'm thinking, okay, so your airbags go off.
Hello, gorgeous.
I'm driving it, which I find is a little bit bizarre. So, you're driving a car with the airbags deployed, so you can't really see very much. You can't really see where you're going. I mean, you can probably change the camera angle, but as you're looking at that, I thought, oh, okay. But you can still sort of see through the airbags, which is, it's good and bad, if you know what I mean. If it's going to be ultra realistic, then you can't see through an airbag. But in the thing of a game like this, you think, well, okay, I guess you're going to need to be able to see the side of the car, see if things are coming at the other junctions. But And at this point, I thought, well, I wonder if I can get my car actually repaired. You know, get the airbags off. So I spotted something down the bottom, and I was heading towards it, like the garage. So, you know, naturally thinking of the garage, well, I thought it was a garage, if you like. It actually turns out, I believe it's the home, you know, where you start off. So I followed this car, found along very nicely there, look, to that corner really, really well. And then I realised, I think at one point, I think it was around here, I realised I was going the wrong way at one point, I missed the turn off. So like I say, the overall, you know, the whole thing for the game, you know, I think it could be, like you say, it could be good. It's got potential. It's not the worst game I've played. The sounds are quite nice on it. You know, the graphics are quite nice on it. It just needs to have some sort of explanation, I suppose, of what you've got to do. So maybe when the proper game comes out, you know, they might have like intros on it saying, you know, like you're telling you basically what you've got to do. You know, saying you know, what your actual missions are. Now, at one point, I wonder if you could go over, you know, do you have to stick to the roads? Is it like completely limited that you're not allowed to drive, you know, on the grass or anything like that? You know, is it kind of invisible barriers, like, you know, like early games sometimes they have very sort of limitations of where you can actually drive. You know, you can be invisible wall kind of thing. So I thought I'd give it a go, and here we are. You can actually drive through bushes and things, so that's quite a nice feature. I didn't want to go through the trees. I thought, you know, I got a funny feeling that if I hit the trees, are likely to damage the car even more. But one of the funny features that this game does have is, as well as having, like, you know, drink, you know, you need to drink, you need to eat. It also has a thing for peeing, you know, so you need to go to the toilet, which I find a bit bizarre. And I think probably the first game that I've ever come across where you've actually got an option that you can actually urinate at places. But hey ho. Okay, so here we are back at the house. So, into reverse, park it in. And then at this point, I completely forgotten again what the keys were to actually get out of the car. So, I suppose when you know, if you could use a remote control, it's not a remote control, you know, your controller for it, it might work a bit better than just using the keys. However, I'm not quite sure at the moment, and there's no explanations, I don't think. I mean, I don't know if there's a manual for it. Whether you can actually repair your car, or if you do, how you get it repaired. I mean, obviously I didn't save the game when I was playing it. I decided to just quit it, you know, rather than saving it. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's got potential. You know, if you compare it to games, obviously like Euro Truck Simulator, Bus Simulator, that type of thing, it's not as good, you know, but it's certainly not as bad as some of the older games, you know, the ones that had very basic graphics, you know, quite blocky graphics, look a bit back cartoony. Like I said, I've played quite a lot of games over the years. And this one, well, would I recommend it? Not at a full price. I can't, like I said, unfortunately, I can't remember how much it was full price. I think it was about £12. I certainly wouldn't pay that much for it, especially because it's in early beta stage. But I managed to get it from a particular website, and I paid. It cost me 84 pence. Well, about probably a pound, something like that. So, as a demo, you know, an early beta thing, it's worth getting if you can get it for that price. Now it's still a gamble, because obviously the writers may decide that they're just going to shelve the thing. They're not going to bother with it. You know, so it's entirely kind of your choice, if you like, what you do. Now, I'm not quite sure how things go with Steam regarding refunds. So if you buy something like this one on an early beta version, are you entitled to your money back? I don't know. I know you can normally do it within a certain amount of time. So if you say, you know, I've forgotten exactly what it is, but I think it's something like so many hours or something, maybe 8 hours or something like that. You know, so you're entitled to your money back then. But as it stands, if you can get it a lot cheaper through other sites, then it's worth the blast for a little, just to drive about and just be silly. Hopefully there'll be more updates to come, and, you know, fingers crossed. So, what did you think to this video? Do you like how I've done it? Would you do anything differently? You know, my commenting, obviously, I babble on a little bit sometimes, so maybe I could need to think about changing that and not talking as much, waffling as much, you know, changing what I'm talking about as much, you know, like that. But on the whole, it's quite a nice game. It's got a bit of promise to it. What rating would I give it? Probably about, so far with it's going, 7 out of 10. If, like I said, I think that the thing that lets it down is the fact there's you can't use a gaming controller with it. Although I seem to remember somebody on one of the reviews said that they could, but I can't work out how you do that. So if you can, that would be brilliant. But at the moment, like I said, I've not found out how to do that. The graphics, while they're nice, you know, they're not brilliant, but they're certainly not the worst. And it's like a drivable, believable town, you know, because the graphics are quite nice. The control system, well, there's loads of keys, loads of things which I've not even looked upon, you know, so I thought I'll just have a quick go and drive it and see what it's like. So yeah, it's okay. So if you like this video, please give a thumbs up, hit that bell button for the whatever they call it, you know, the alerts and everything, and so consider subscribing as well if you want to see some more videos of what I'm doing, because I've done something on about Bus Simulator 18. I know it's a bit of an old game, but I had a bit of an issue with it, and I'll tell you what it is now. We're going to do a separate video, but I don't think it's really worth doing on a separate video, to be honest. What it was, last year they had a 3 days option. You know, you have two or 3 days play for it for unlimited. You know, you could do what, but then after that it says that if you want to carry on playing, you got to pay for it. So I decided, as I was buying this Drive 21 game, I thought it was quite cheap. What did I pay? I paid about £3 for it, £3.10, something like that. So I'm thinking, well, it's worth it for a little bit of, you know, some daft driving, you know, maybe get some more different cities, that type of thing. And yeah, it does get a bit boring after a bit, but then again, most games do, don't they? You know, it's something that you can go back to, have a quick blast about, and do things on. So what happened is I'd since changed laptops. I'd got a different laptop at the time, and it wasn't very good at running the game. So I thought, well, there's no point in buying it when it's not going to run very well. So I got this other laptop, and I thought, well, theoretically, it should work a lot better on it, and it does when it was working. Now, the issue was when I first loaded it up, it copied or cloned the previous save game from my old laptop into my new laptop. So if I tried to delete the old game from the old laptop, it just crashed. The system, well, not the system crashed, but the game just quit out. So it loaded back up again, and then it had duplicated that game save, so you end up with 3 game saves, 2 of the old one and 1 of the new ones, which I thought, well, this is a bit strange. So what I did then was I thought, well, I'll try and play the game that's been cloned onto my new laptop, which allowed me to do it, but then it started at the beginning, which was a bit strange because the progress of it was something like, you know, I'd done so many trips already, but it sent me back to setting up the new bus driver and the new company. So I thought, well, that's a bit weird. But anyhow, I thought, we'll go with that and see what it does. And after about 10 minutes of gameplay, it just immediately crashed out again. No warning or anything. It just disappeared and went back to the desktop, to the you know, to the Steam. So then what I then did was I thought, well, I wonder if I delete the other one. You know, delete the game from the new laptop. So I deleted it, and it said, are you sure you want to delete it? Yes, because like I said, when I tried to do the old one, it just reset itself. It just quit out. So it let me do that, and I thought, oh, that's a bit strange, because if I tried to create a new game before, it would quit out as well. So as far as I was aware, there was some sort of something like configuration problem or something, or some sort of conflict, and it appeared that there was. So what I did was I managed to delete the one from my new laptop, so obviously create it from scratch, clicked on create new game, and then lo and behold, it allowed me to do it, and it played for 2 hours yesterday with no problems. One thing I did do was I disabled the cloud backup, which I'm going to try again later on, but at that point it worked, so I was quite pleased with that. So that's a big tip. If you ever get any issues like that, you know, try and, you know, if it's cloned anything or like that, delete the new one that's supposedly against the your new laptop if you've got one, and just see if that works, because to be honest, you can't get any refunds like from Steam, because it was purchased outside of Steam, you know. So if I'd have thought, oh, I'm going to get a refund for it, I couldn't, because I'd not purchased it through Steam. And the people that I got the thing up, which was gamivo.com, they says, well, we can't give you the money back because the code's already been used. And so my thought was, well, and I actually said, well, so if you buy a code, and they said, well, you need to make sure it's compatible with your laptop. Your laptop's capable of running it. I said, well, of course my laptop's capable of running it, because it's basically like the laptop's like 6 months old. The game was brought out in 2018, and it even worked on a previous laptop that was from 2016. So I knew it works, and I know the game works, and I knew it'll work on the laptop because I've played loads of other games on this laptop. Okay, it's got Windows 11 on it, but that shouldn't cause an issue, and it doesn't. Like I said, the issue was the fact that it had cloned basically cloned the saved game, i.e. saved company, onto the new laptop, but whenever I tried to do anything with it or play it, it would crash. So that's a big tip for you there. So anyhow, thanks very much for watching. Take care, everybody, and stay safe. Bye-bye.